Hello, coaches and future coaches. Welcome to the webinar put on by HWCA, the Holistic Wellness Coaching Academy, the #1 school for gut, brain, nervous system health coaching. I'm Coach Britt, and I'm going to be walking you through not only a bit about the HWCA unique training model, and how we came to be and what it looks like so that you can figure out if it's for you or not, but I'm also going to cover 4 really important things to look for in any program from a health coach who's been there, done that, who's done plenty of trainings and programs, who's been training coaches for 8 years now through HWCA and in holistic gut health and gut brain wellness. We've learned a lot of information, and I want to give all of it to you guys today. So I'll make it as brief as possible, but don't be afraid to pause the video and come back to it if you need to, because we'll try not to supersede, 10 to 15 minutes. So firstly, I'm Coach Britt. I'm the founding educator at the Holistic Wellness Coaching Academy. We are AADP accredited with the American Academy of Drugless Practitioners, and we have been around for about 8 years now. We're about to have our 8-year anniversary. Woohoo! And we started originally as a gut health program, and since we have evolved so much, which is what I'm going to talk about today. But first, I want to just give you a little bit of my backstory so you understand the teacher behind a lot of the training, the coach behind the coaches. But I won't go into it too deep, because if you want to know more about me, you can find more of that in books and blogs and etc. But I want to give you just a little bit of information so that you can understand who I am, how I got here, and essentially how we came to be. So I have been involved in health and wellness on a personal level for about 2 decades now. I studied holistic wellness and just health in general, right? Which started out very simplistically, almost 10 years before I got into it as a coach. I had thrown around the idea of getting professionally trained, getting degrees in different methods of wellness and nutrition. But unfortunately, I just found so many holes with what they were teaching and the information that they were allowing to be taught to the students in a lot of the conventional programs. And I wasn't satisfied with that. As a lifetime sufferer, I struggled with anxiety and some depression, but especially anxiety and full-blown panic as early as age 4. Mental health was a really big challenge for me. Nervous system dysfunction and regulation was a big problem. I was very, very overweight for a lot of my childhood and would later go on to struggle with some hormonal issues in my later teens and early adult years, leading to issues getting pregnant, with fertility, all kinds of stuff that I thought was more hormonally related, especially mental health. So to this day, mental health is my passion. And I had done a lot of work in wellness and research because the answers just weren't out there. I wasn't satisfied with the put a pill on it, give them a pill, write a prescription kind of approach to what I was dealing with. And thankfully, I didn't go that route, because my massive amount of suffering led me to seek other answers, to just seek more information. It wasn't until my dad had a massive stroke at only 43 years old. I was barely 21. And through observing how that process was handled with him within the hospital, and with food too, I was really disappointed. I didn't think my options were very big as far as pursuing my desire and love of wellness. So I put it off. I kind of just put it on the back burner and would go on to do multiple things in business. I was a hairdresser for a while. I owned organic coffee stands for a while. But through that, I would bring in health and wellness all the time. I would read and research constantly. I just had such a passion for it. And I found so much through books, through articles, through case studies, through doctors and people who weren't part of the mainstream being put into the conventional education, but they were absolutely credentialed. And they had all this value to give, and personal experiences, often a lot of suffering, specifically in the realm of mental health, which really intrigued me. So it wasn't until about 10 years into research that I had made so many changes. I had evolved from a very naive nutritional perspective where, it was calorie restriction and low fat and all those silly things that many of us did early in life. I lost weight and done all that. To evolve more into other things. I was a vegetarian for 7 years. I ended up, after my second miscarriage, I decided that really wasn't working for me, etc. So it wasn't until after my second miscarriage and about 10 years into research that I discovered this thing called health coaching. And in health coaching, these coaches or these schools and these programs that were teaching health coaching were teaching what I'd always wanted to learn. And I looked further and I transitioned at that point out of my traditional businesses and got certified as a coach. And I brought so much to the table through all those years of research that I was the fastest graduate through my program. And I actually wrote a book right out of school because through this process, I thought I would be specializing in hormones. I'd looked at all this suffering and these experiences in my life and figured this has got to be hormonally related because there were hormonal ties to what I'd experienced. But I didn't understand that through digging so deeply into hormones, it would bring me even deeper into the gut. And this is how I got into gut health. I ended up writing a book about it. It's called Buddha Belly, a mind, body, soul approach to health, starting with your gut. It's a great explanation for people that especially don't really understand gut health or what it is. It's a great starting point. And from that book, we decided to develop a course. I aligned with a school for a while, and I was able to teach it there. And then it became really clear after not so long that our motives were different. I was very, very passionate about helping coaches utilize the education and use it and develop their dream business and help people. And a lot of the programs were out there just trying to sell more certificates, and they were leaving these coaches short of skill sets to get their stuff in motion to actually do this thing. And so we branched off, and through doing that, we evolved into a full training program. And we built the training program, and we've elaborated on this training program for 8 years now with the information that we've gotten from our coaches on what they were missing. Seeing so many people come to our program that had been through all kinds of other programs. Some were brand new and had never done coaching before. Others had done multiple programs. They'd put down over $6,000, $10,000, $12,000 into programs. They had a great level of academic knowledge, even some very high degrees, and yet they couldn't put their stuff into play. They didn't know how to do it. They weren't doing what they wanted. They weren't having the outcome that they wanted, which is this to be practicing as a coach in whatever facet really they desired and be successful and effective and really know how to do that. And so we just kept elaborating on the program. And this brings me to my point of 4 things you want to look for. Even if by the end of this webinar, this info session, HWCA isn't for you, which by the end of this, you're gonna be pretty keen on whether or not this is for you. But these are 4 things that even if we're not for you, this is 4 things that you're going to want to look for in a program, okay? Because time is of the essence. It is of the highest of value. Obviously, our finances are of value. Okay, so we don't want to waste our time and waste our money in spaces that aren't going to give us the return or give us the skills that we need in order to put into play what we want, right? So we want to look at content. You want to make sure that the training program that you're doing has good content that you need, okay? That it's that the syllabus looks like information that you're after. Okay. And it's not just generic, or if maybe it's really layman's and it's stuff that you've already known for years. And yes, it'll give you a certification, but it won't really expand on your knowledge much. Or maybe it's advanced terminologies and cutting edge concepts. And that's really exciting, right? So you want to look for content that suits you and suits your interest in where you think you want to go with this. You want to look for credibility. So content credibility is the second one. You want to make sure that this isn't just any old Joe Schmo. Like I said, any of us can develop a course. Any of us can develop a school. Okay, I learned that. But not everyone has their head in the game. They're not out there. Some people are trying to make a quick buck. So you want to kind of look on what's behind that. There's different forms of credibility checking, and a program should hopefully hold some type of accreditation. It's not the utmost important. Some great programs just don't meet certain requirements. There's certain accreditation we don't hold because it requires live training hours, and we want to be flexible with our coaches. We want them to be able to be working parents and single mothers and in different countries on different timelines and not have to show up for a live class. We don't want that pressure on our training like that. And so there's some accreditations that we don't partake in because they would cause us to have to change our model, which would cause our clients, our coaches to suffer. But we are accredited with the AADP. So this is the American Academy of Drugless Practitioners. So that means you can go on that site and you can validate that we've passed certain criteria to be approved an approved program by the American Academy of Drugless Practitioners. And even my out-of-country coaches, which we have coaches now in over 25 plus countries, don't mind this because it's at least an accreditation body. So a second party, a third party saying, okay, hey, this is good enough. So look for something like that. You just do some vetting, ask to maybe talk to some previous graduates, see how long the program's been around. I mean, make sure it's somewhat legit, okay? The third is usability. Are you going to be able to apply what you're learning? How usable is this information? Are you going to get skills to apply knowledge, to actually do the things, to actually coach people, to actually create that business or that system? Or is it just the intaking of information? Okay, because maybe that's what you're after. Maybe you just want some extra information and you don't really need the rest. But for most of our coaches, we found that application is really important. To get the skills to apply the information is missing for a lot of them. And fourth, affordability. There are so many programs now, and along with programs of our caliber, they are kind of pricey. And that was why when we saw so many coaches that were coming from these other programs that had already spent all this money, we said, how can we create options to make this more affordable for our coaches? And I'm going to talk about that toward the end of this webinar. So that's a little bit about, those are 4 things you want to look for in a program: content, credibility, usability, and affordability. Because obviously we need to be able to afford it and we need to decide sacrifice versus investment, right? What's it worth to you? So what we did when we were doing our research, and this is just research of our primary driver, okay, our primary motive behind this school was to empower coaches so they could further help the rest of the world and empower people. So that is a driver. That's a great backing to have behind a program. And as a coach myself, and as I've been a working single mother, balancing work and children and everything, there's so much personal purpose behind how this school was developed and continues to be run and developed and supported. And that is to support the coach into success. Because if a coach is successful, not only are they fulfilled, but they are then able to and currently helping other people. They're able to utilize that passion and have impact on the rest of the world. And empowering wellness is a massive motivation for us. And so through intentional coaches is how an intentional strategy is how we're allowed to empower. We're able to empower our big picture. Okay. So that's what's behind it. It's not some corporate people sitting up there wanting to hit certain numbers or make another course just to make money. Okay. I don't want you to take any course of ours just to roll money in for us. I want you to take a course because you want it and you need it, and I want you to take advantage of all of the resources that we give you for making something of that education. Okay, like that is our primary motive. That's what fulfills me, and that's what keeps us going. Is don't let go of me, I won't let go of you. Okay, so one thing about HWCA is we have a motto that says life coach first. Okay, so while our primary our main certification is the holistic gut practitioner, which is holistic gut brain health coaching. Okay, and holistic, like is mental, emotional, physical, spiritual. And all aspects of this absolutely affect the gut. So while there's a lot of training programs that cover the biology of gut health, we go even farther because we know that gut health is more than just biology. So while we incorporate some of the latest science and biology of the gut biome, we also go deeply into the gut-brain connection and so forth, because it is as impactful as diet and internal ecosystem. Our stress, our thoughts, our emotions, even things like past trauma, ACEs scores, things like that you'll learn about can massively alter the biome and keep the nervous system and the gut and even the brain then in a state of constant dysregulation. So to bring it together holistically, you'll see something called the life wheel, where we break down all facets of health and wellness on a holistic level with an incredibly strong emphasis on the power that is the gut, because the gut is responsible for regulating majority of everything. It regulates your immune system. It regulates your metabolism, your neurotransmitters to your brain, whether or not they're working adequately or not, whether you're happy or sad, whether you can calm down when you need to, or whether you can get, energy when you need to. These are neurotransmitter functions. Your gut is responsible for assimilating nutrients. I mean, one of the biggest things we see about nutrient deficiency is that's being overlooked is that we're not looking and seeing what the composition of the gut looks like and how it's functioning. So we'll throw vitamins at a person, but how great is that? That's just kind of just band-aiding the symptoms because we're not getting to the root of why there's dysfunction. So when it comes to gut health, you guys, and holistic gut health, we really get into that holistic aspect and we really stand behind what we say life coach first, because you can have all the information in the world, but to get people to follow you requires developing rapport, developing trust. People, a client or a potential client may come to you because they have obvious GI issues or they want to lose weight or whatever the reason. But what you'll find is behind that is a whole different level of obstacles. It's in here, it's in here. And if we want to give them the tools that they can actually use in their diet, in their nutrition, in their lifestyle changes, right? Then we need to get in a little deeper. And that's where we say life coach first. We're developing a system, the big comfy couch, where your clients want to come see you. They don't dread seeing you because you're going to hold them accountable. And, like that's not what we do. We're a toolbox and we empower our coaches with as many tools as we can and continuously build that toolbox for them so that they can just have so many skill sets and have so much knowledge that they can even keep a Rolodex of professionals that are outside of our scope of practice to connect our coaches to, because we have such a great aerial view of a holistic wellness and function. Okay, so that's our main program is the holistic gut practitioner. This includes access to things like microbiome testing, which is the ability to run gut biome labs and read the data. You guys, this is powerful information. I have had people come to me with debilitating gut issues, with horrible mental health, major, major struggles. No doctor can figure it out, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And we can pull one of those gut tests and read so much about the bacteria in there, where there is dysfunction. And it makes sense. It'll make sense most of the time, it'll make sense as to why they're having mental health issues. Their gut bacteria that produce neurotransmitters, their function is totally off. There's bad dysbiosis happening, causing chronic inflammation. And inflammation is linked to every single disease out there. And the gut is the primary source of what exacerbates, causes, or not inflammation. And so to be able to dig into that gut and see that, you get to run those labs. The labs come back to you. You can consult a physician on each lab you run, and then you can bring them to your client. So it's such a great, very professional thing to be able to bring to the table. Our graduates are able to access clinical grade gut supplements. So different forms of really powerful probiotics, prebiotics, et cetera, mucosal repair. These things come in really handy when we're trying to strategize how to help a client, especially if they have really bad dysbiosis. They may have really bad IBS issues. They can't just eat any old healthy food. A lot of the times in these states, they can't tolerate a lot of the foods that they need to be healthy. So it's about helping them recalibrate the ecosystem. And we can do this through a mix of functional nutrition and access to really great clinical grade gut specific supplementation. And I will say, just a note here, we do not make any money off of supplements. I'm not a supplement pusher. We just get our coaches access because these are so powerful, and because things like re-inoculating the gut with probiotics, et cetera, alternative ways of feeding that gut bacteria when we can't tolerate certain foods, because those are necessary and very beneficial processes, then it really helps for our coaches to be able to access some of the best supplements that we found to be able to do some of this. So again, you don't have to, but it's something that our coaches get access to. So that's the foundational program of the holistic gut practitioner. On top of that, one of the things that we realized that the coaches were missing was how to with clients, walking them through a system or a protocol, so to speak, a holistic protocol. And so we developed one of those too. So our coaches train in a 5-week Buddha belly gut restoration protocol. And it's really a data process. It's a process of elimination and focus. And it very much is holistic, just like everything else we do, where we do mindset work, movement, deep breathing, just evaluation, and it's a no shame space. So it's not about some strict protocol following it, to a T. It's really about starting to listen to your body, pull some things for a while that are known to be highly reactive, and then a reintroduction process so that we can listen to how the body's responding. So we put together a done for you version of this. It's a 5-week process. All of our coaches are trained in it, and all of our graduates have access to retail it and work with it after they graduate. And what's really cool about this, and they can go through it while they're in the program. And what's really cool about this is that if you're a coach or you're a hands-on practitioner, like I have massage therapists and estheticians who maybe don't want to spend a lot of time coaching one-on-one per se, they can utilize this program and put their clients somewhere where they learn. Okay, your clients learning through an online course in a portal. They have their own book, their own journal, their own food list. So they're empowered in their own knowledge like it's theirs. Okay, and then you're able to elaborate on the process or however you choose. This can be in a one-on-one setting. You can do group. I have coaches that do group programs. They run it in a full group and they coach a whole group at once. This is a great way to lower the ticket for your client individually, but increase your revenue individually for time spent. And we talk about a lot of these business things in the course as well, so that our coaches have access and opportunities. You can just retail it like you would product, right? And be totally hands off, but give your clients something that they can go to. Like I said, some of my estheticians and massage therapists, they like to do that for additional revenue. So it's just, again, it's a no pressure bonus that we created to help our coaches be successful. We run it together 2 times a year. So if you're nervous about this process yourself, well, guess what? We can do it as a group, and I lead the group. Okay, so you're not just thrown to the wolves, and you can put your clients in our shared group so they don't know. They don't know if you have 1 client or 100 clients. They don't know. And so it's a really great way to get that feedback and practice with a support system. Okay, so one other thing that we put in the program before I go into our additional certification that we now offer, one of the biggest things that we put in the program is lots of business training. We do monthly masterminds. These are for personal coaching sessions because my coaches need to be coached too. All of us do. We need a support system. We go through hard things in life. We're stuck in our business. We have an obstacle. We're, whatever. So live coaching sessions once a month. If they ever start getting too full, then we'll add more than that. But I'm on those live. And that's where I always say, don't let go of me and I won't let go of you, because we are going to work through your business here. We're going to work through your obstacle. We're going to support you in your health challenges that you're dealing with while you're trying to lead and support others, while you're taking care of kids and a family. Like, we're in this together. This is a safe space for coaches. So we do that once a month. Okay. And we have a full business training course that comes with the Holistic Gut Practitioner certification. So this is everything, you guys. This is developing your brand and your logo, where to go, and a website and lead generation system, and the business machine is what I like to call it. And this is the whole process from start to finish. So whether you already have a functioning business and you want to put it through the scope and reevaluate it, expand it, grow on it, or whether you're starting it for the first time, it's excellent knowledge. And then you can take that and bring that to our masterminds. And that's where we can tweak the pieces of your machine as we go on. That's my favorite thing. It's really great. So lots of business stuff, because the coaches that we're training didn't have it. A lot of them even struggled with how to actually handle a client, handle a situation, what system to put them through. Hence why we did the intake forms and the done for you protocol and all of that. Again, we just kept taking data. What do we keep hearing? This is what they're missing. They just dropped $6,000 to $12,000 and they still don't have the skills to work with a client, to know what to do step by step, to know how to get clients, to know how to develop a lead system. Okay, so we've added and we've added and we've added, and we will continue to always add. One thing we did, we don't add a bunch of certifications because we're not in the business of making money on certifications. Okay, I'm avidly against this. I have personal vendetta as to why I don't like this. And yet I love ongoing education, and so do our coaches. So, but I will say we did come out with one more certification, which I'm going to talk about in a minute. And it's brand new. And it's only the second really solid certification that we've ever developed in 8 years of having the Academy. And nothing makes me more excited. So please hang on for that part. I will tell you, for those of you who love ongoing education, we have ways that you can keep learning every month. So we have a monthly membership for our coaches after they graduate. And it's a discounted price for all of our alumni, and it is packed. That membership, you guys, has a new class every single month on some sort of advanced concept for continuing education. It's got done for you content like posts and things like that you can either repurpose or you can just use yourself. It's got cute little new gut recipes that are cataloged in a whole recipe box for you online that you can print out or print out for your clients. And it's got ongoing gut science classes in there. And this is done by, like I said, our access to microbiome labs, the ones that do the clinical gut supplementation and have access to gut testing. They're the science nerds. So they're getting in that biome and looking at bacteria and tying it to different diseases and conditions and evaluating supplementation. And they allow us to catalog a lot of the classes and trainings that they do, which is really cool. So some of that is in the membership as well for us. We want to nerd out on the science. The masterminds are then recorded and cataloged in there too. So and if you hold on to membership, if you choose to keep that, you'll get 3 months free when you sign up. You'll get 3 months free of membership to try it out and see if you want to keep it. If you do keep it, you'll retain access to your course after the 14 to 18 month mark. Okay, so you'll retain access to your course and any updates that we do in there, as well as all the perks that come with membership. So that's how we allow our coaches to affordably continue their education, stay connected to us, keep growing their business, is through that membership. And I will tell you that there's another version of that membership available to non-HWCA coaches. Please ask me about that personally if that's something that interests you. You're not into training, but you think you might want to do the ongoing ed and membership community. Please see me. You can check it out at enrollhwca.com and email the school directly. So this brings me to my last point. Sorry, excuse me. So my last part is that we rolled out our second certification recently. So almost 8 years into this, we rolled out a certification that my whole heart has been in this process. So upon doing this for so many years, okay, we've known that one of the first steps of focus when working in holistic gut health is to help a client or ourselves with their nervous system function. Okay, calm the nervous system. We have tricks and strategies. We need to do it before we eat sometimes, often. Because nervous system dysfunction is it's stress, right? It's a stress response. But I think stress anymore has been very dumbed down and kind of minimized. Like we just hear it so much, we just think stress, and we don't understand what real heavy or chronic stress does, what unresolved trauma from years back that's re-triggering for years and years and years does. The stress of, we're seeing now so much hormonal dysregulation, especially for women. They start hitting late 30s, 40s, and they're going through this crazy stuff. They're dealing with mental health issues they've never experienced before, okay? The nervous system is responding. It's responding to chemicals in our environment. It's responding to unresolved stresses and traumas, chronic pushing ourselves, meeting everyone else's needs, disassociating from our body's needs. It is a huge problem. It's an epidemic. And it's the one place that we always say, simplistically, that we've had our coaches start with clients in a holistic gut protocols. Calm the nervous system. Okay. But we didn't get really into that. And it wasn't until some personal experiences of mine and so many people that I've been blessed to work with, that we decided to really, really double down on this and create a whole new advanced training. And through my own personal experience, when I got into gut health, you guys, I had pretty much almost eradicated panic attacks. Now, my body will still respond with anxiety and things like that. That's kind of my smoke alarm. But after 30 years of struggling with this stuff, I had pretty much eradicated my panic attacks. And it stayed that way for at least a decade. And it wasn't until not too long ago when I dealt with years of chronic stress that I couldn't separate from, some situations that I couldn't fix, that us coaches, were fixers. We want to get the information and something's bad or wrong or whatever, and we want to fix it, right? And sometimes you just can't do that. And so my body took such a beating from this stress that I started getting really sick in spite of all of my best gut health knowledge and practices, in spite of all my fitness and activity, okay, in spite of my sleep and my water intake, okay, those were the things that were a regular part of my life. So because of stress alone, it started taking me out and I got very sick. I got so sick that not only did my panic attacks come back, but they came back worse than I'd ever seen them. And this time I was a mother and I just couldn't even fathom it. There were times I couldn't even leave my house. I couldn't focus, brain fog. I couldn't rest. This is a sign of nervous system dysregulation where you're sitting and you feel like your whole body's being electrocuted. Okay, like you're so exhausted, you're too exhausted to move or do something in a weird way. But yet, when you sit down, you also just feel like there's this electric current. It's just this constant, like, grinding in your spine almost. And as I've repeated this to people, I've had more and more, specifically women, go, yes, exactly. They knew exactly what I was talking about. So as I started doing deep nervous system work, I started training in trauma-informed breath work, which was one of the most powerful things that I did at this time. And NLP, which is neuro-linguistic programming, so mindset stuff, so how the mind works, because then the mind can set off the nervous system even more. We find that it's just this huge, it's all just this synchronized. So it's not like we start in one spot and it helps everything else. We need to kind of candy pick and kind of pull it apart and start a little in all the spots, incorporate all of it. And so upon doing this for my own sanity, it really brought a lot to life. And I started working with more and more coaches and potential coaches who were struggling like this too. And we started implementing more of this nervous system work. And we decided to develop a whole entire training that digs much deeper. It's more of a life coach therapeutic kind of a training and skill set. And then it digs deeper into brain function and brain development and a lot of the science, even in early life and attachments, like some psychology, which I love, I find so fascinating, and how all of that really develops, and then how it affects the body, the brain, body, nervous system, and then ultimately our gut, and how we can help our clients tame and realign their nervous system dysfunction, what it looks like, what it might feel like, what it could be from, what we can do to put that in place, how we can connect right with them, how we can help their head not continue to play a story in their body that's going to keep them sick if their body's actively trying to heal. All of that. So we brought that together and we launched the Neuro Resilience Health Coaching course. It's more of a life coaching course. And we did that on the 2nd of January, 2025. We've already had some of our coaches in it so far, and this training has been the most incredible accompaniment to our main training that we've ever had. So as of right now, you guys, there are 2 different certifications. So why we do this webinar so that you can learn all about us is we want you to go through it and evaluate this stuff before you get on a call. Because the purpose of the call is to dig in and ask a little bit of questions regarding these things. It's for us to figure out what you want with your business and how we can make that work and to figure out an option that's best for you. Because now, why we don't just list pricing online, etc., is because we have so many different options. Okay, so there's 3 different options that are going to suit anyone that finds our school. One is the personal wellness option. You're not really ready to get certified, you need a lower cost program, but you want to get into it. Then we do have an option of taking the personal program or even connecting it to a gut biome test where we will actually review your results and you'll go through the protocol process and you'll get one of those labs done. We'll run a lab on your gut and go through it together and kind of make a plan for you. Okay, that's one option. And that option can be applied toward tuition at a later date. So that's a place some people may want to start. Most are going to want to start with certification. Okay, so your options for certification are either the holistic gut practitioner certification and biome testing, right? Where there's options where we can run a biome test on you along with your certification. So you can train and learn as you're learning on yourself. And I assist the coaches in this entire process. So not only with some personalized coaching, but with analyzing their gut results and helping them learn the skills to then do it themselves so that they can apply this with coaches or with their clients. Okay, so the holistic gut practitioner, then we have the neuro resilience coach. This is a life coach course. This may suit some people on their own. If you just want to do more of the therapeutic strategies with individuals or groups, if you're really interested in brain stuff, but don't really want to go the health coaching, deep gut health route, this could suit you alone as well. For a lot of my coaches, they love putting them together and doing the dual certification. When you do the dual certification, you automatically get the personal program too. When you do the holistic gut practitioner certification, you automatically get the personal program as well. And so because of these three different options, okay, this is why we advise you to get on a call. And then what you do, so if you can apply, we do offer a limited amount of scholarships or scholarship periods to our coaches. And this is where we're pretty convicted, is we don't want you to go through a program, spend $6,000 to $12,000 and then come here and try and spend another $6,000 to $10,000. Okay, even though we operate on about that level and our base pricing is, we're not a cheap program, but we offer these scholarships and they can be as great as 50+%. It can depend on and it depends on a few factors. Do you have more than one person training? For groups of 3 or more, see me, because we'll do special pricing for you and we'll evaluate what combination works best for you and your group. For individuals that want to get in on a scholarship but train alone, there's options to do that. For individuals that want to get in on specific group periods and benefit from the scholarship that's a little less than the individual, we have those options too. We even have payment arrangements for anywhere from 3 months to 12 months, depending on what suits you. So this is why we say, please book your call, because we can't just give that all to you. We have to assess where you're at, what you want, what you need, and what's available right now. And it's our goal. Whenever I coach with a coach, it is my goal to get them the best situation that I can. So figure out what content is going to best suit them, okay? And how they're going to use it and how we can make that the most affordable as possible with what they're working with. Okay, so the only thing I'd say is if you're here because you just want something for free, pretty much no business can exist unless they're externally funded by giving away things for free. However, we do offer, and if you're interested in this, we do have a how to design a gut health coaching practice course that we offer free for 30 days. No payment required. And you can see some of our info. You can get a feel for how to maybe set up a gut health practice, what it could look like for you. That's a great course. It's absolutely complimentary on us for 30 days. You can access the podcast, the Buddha Belly Life podcast, that has so many credentialed speakers and amazing, inspiring stories. That's available on all platforms. And if you go to enrollhwca.com, you'll find all of this. You'll find the podcast, the webinars, more curriculum information, and info on how to apply for a scholarship. Okay, so I hope that this gives you guys a little bit of insight to kind of make your decision. Again, our whole goal is to be what every coach needs, to have the content that they're missing, okay, have the credibility to back it up, to give them all the tools to use their education so that they can be successful in their desired endeavors. Because if not, then really what's the point? Okay. And then to make it as affordable as possible, because I get it. We get it. Okay. I'm a single working mother, and I invest in things that mean something to me. But at the same time, we've got to make decisions. So if we can make it as doable for you as possible, if you're willing to take that partial risk with us, then we'll take that partial risk on you and carry a scholarship or payment option. So the next thing to do is, again, apply. So if you hear all this and you're like, hey, this sounds like everything I need and want, and I want to work with Britt directly, with the team, with the HWCA coaches, and do this thing, then please apply. You can go to enrollhwca.com and apply for a scholarship. We'll follow up with you, and please book your call. Okay, but make sure you watch this info video. You may have already booked your call and we're sending you this info video. So try and get it in there. But either way, stay connected to us. Follow the podcast, follow what we do, and stay connected, because we are moving mountains in a whole new way at HWCA.